I came upon this story that I'd never heard about in an old book that I found about the Dole Air Race, which was the first to fly to Hawaii from California in 1927. So this was just after Lindbergh made his flight across the Atlantic. And there was a big prize put up by Dole, the pineapple magnate, and a ton of people from around the country all wanted to enter this race. But when I looked into it, so 8 planes ended up taking off. There was more had been, more wanted to enter, but got disqualified or sadly crashed. But there were no women pilots. There was one woman in the race. And in my research, I realized there were tons of women at the time that were capable pilots. And I'm not sure if they just weren't allowed into the race or nobody actually wanted to do it. But I had a feeling that had they been able to, one of these women pilots would have. And so that's when I created Olivia West she was really a navigator to start with. And so I have her, and she's trying to get in the race, and then we have the race. And so she's not a real character, but the race is real. I'm not a huge fan of flying, but I live on an island, so I do have to fly. I had a bunch of books, The Spirit of St. Louis, which was by Lindbergh, with a beautifully written book full of information about exactly and it was the same time period, so it worked out perfectly for me just to get a real sense of what it was like to be in these tiny airplanes, overloaded with fuel, 27 hours up there in the air. And in the case of getting to Hawaii, you're trying to hit this tiny island in the middle of the ocean, which is a much more difficult feat than hitting Europe, and so, yeah, that was very helpful. Also, there was a book called Race to Hawaii that had a lot of firsthand accounts of the actual pilots in the race. That was really helpful. It was interesting with this book because this was my first non-war book. And I think the flight part, Olivia West, that was exciting and dramatic. But it was interesting, definitely, the 1987 storyline, because there isn't that built-in drama, like there is in wartime or, air race across the Pacific in 1927. So that was interesting to me. Yeah, and I think with the Codebreaker, I got more, everybody loved both timelines, even though, the second one wasn't World War II. But Olivia West, I got a little bit more of like, I loved Olivia, I loved her storyline. So there is that. After the Maui Effect, I have 2 books coming out. One is about the mysterious death of Jane Stanford in Waikiki at the Moana Hotel in 1905. And Jane Stanford, if you don't know who she is, she was the founder of Stanford University. And so it's kind of a murder mystery set at the Moana Hotel 100 years apart. So then I have a storyline in 2005, a woman staying in the same room. So that's kind of a fun mystery. And then I'm working on a book about a female great white shark scientist who's come to the Big Island to investigate a series of deadly shark attacks and try to understand what's really happening. I'm terrified. I don't like flying. And so, but it's kind of fun for me to write about this. It's almost like I get to live vicariously through my character that's a really brave pilot. And same thing with the shark book, because I swim a lot. I do ocean swims, and I'm always the one that's like looking for the sharks. My friends don't seem to be as nervous as me, but again, it's just, I've been watching a lot of Shark Week videos and videos on great white sharks, and it's kind of fun because I'm not in the water while I'm doing it.